2026 will not be decided by how good your trading strategy is. It'll be decided by how well you can implement the strategy you already have. So in this video, I'm going to give you my PACE framework, 4 battle-tested principles that my 6- and 7-figure clients use to bridge the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. And here's what's powerful about this framework. Work on just one of these elements and you'll see massive improvements. But nail all 4, I can virtually guarantee that you're going to have the best trading year ever. So let's start with the foundation. I once had a client, Joe, who always felt behind. He was underperforming and despite working hard, lacked real conviction in his trades. When we looked at his schedule, I noticed one key difference between him and more successful traders at his level. Almost all the higher performers were doing prep and planning for the following week on the weekend. Joe didn't think he needed to do this. So I challenged him. For the next 5 weeks, spend 2 to 3 hours on a Sunday evening planning trades, thinking through different scenarios, and deciding on sizing for various outcomes that might unfold the following week. Unsurprisingly, his results skyrocketed. Why? Because now he felt prepared. He felt like he was following a plan rather than making a strategy up in the heat of battle. And as a result, he felt more confident and more in control. This led to a massive increase in his conviction. Joe called this adding a 6th day, because even though it only took a couple of hours, he felt it added 20 to 30% to his results. Look, preparation isn't glamorous, but it is the difference between reacting and executing. When Monday morning comes and the markets are moving, you're not scrambling, you're simply following the roadmap you've already created. And that's why the P in PACE stands for prep. But here's the thing, even the best preparation falls apart without the next element of the framework. Here's something most traders won't admit. We lie to ourselves constantly. We tell ourselves we're being disciplined when we're actually gambling. We convince ourselves that we had a good reason for that impulsive trade. We rationalize breaking our rules because this time was different. The problem is that when you're alone with your thoughts, these lies are easy to believe. And that's why you need a system that forces you to be honest about what you're actually doing versus what you tell yourself you're doing. I've seen 3 approaches work particularly well. First is traditional coaching or having a trading partner. I had a client who would send me voice notes every evening explaining his trades for the day. Just knowing he had to explain his decisions to someone made him think twice before placing questionable trades. He wasn't trying to impress me, he just couldn't stomach the idea of explaining a stupid trade out loud. Second is journaling. Write out your thought process before the trade. What's your thesis? What would invalidate it? And what size are you going to use and why? Then after the trade, you can review. Did you follow your plan? And if not, what emotions or thought patterns derailed you? One of my clients discovered through his journal that every time he had 3 big winning days in a row, he'd get overconfident and on day 4, he would blow up. He couldn't see this pattern in real time, but his journal made it undeniable. Once he knew this, he could create a rule. After 3 green days, reduce size by 30% until he proved he could stay disciplined. Third is review your trades with AI and talk out loud your thought process. At the end of the trading day, talk to AI, explain why you took the trade, how you managed it, and whether you followed your plan. The AI will point out logical inconsistencies or patterns you're missing. You said this was a high conviction trade, but you only used 30% of your plan size. What changed? It's like having a coach available 24/7 who never gets tired of asking the hard questions. The key insight is this: your brain will always find ways to justify what you want to do in the moment. These accountability systems, whether through a person, a journal, or AI, create friction between impulse and action. And that friction is where discipline is created. Look, you don't need all 3 systems. Pick one that fits your personality and commit to it for just 30 days. You'll be shocked at how much clearer your thinking becomes when you know someone or something is watching. And that's why the A in PACE stands for accountability. Now, once you have preparation and accountability working together, you're ready for what separates good traders from great ones. And when nailed, this is the biggest one by far. Imagine a man approaches you every day and offers to flip a coin. You guess heads or tails and bet money on the outcome. If you're right, you win double what you risk. You bet £10, you get 30 back. The 20 you won plus the 10 you risked. If you're wrong, you lose £10. It's a 50-50 bet. Now imagine one day he says, listen, you've been a great customer, so today is special. We're flipping 5 coins, and you only need to win 1 to collect. What are your odds of losing? Well, for the math nerds out there, it's 50% times 50% times 50% times 50% times 50%, which equals 3.125%. Your odds of winning are 96.875%. So how much do you bet? If you knew this was real and not a scam, The answer should be a lot. Not 3 times, not 5 times your normal bet, but more like 20, 50, even 100 times that. Why? Because you don't know when the man is going to give you another chance like this. This is what happens when massive opportunities come up in trading. A huge macro event, a massive comment where you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach that this is big. Traders get scared and undersized because they don't want to lose a lot of money. And I can understand this. But the truth is, you can't win a boxing match if you're scared of getting a bloody nose. Talk to the really successful 7-figure traders, they all say the same thing. The highest leverage skill they can work on is betting more on the 10 to 20 massive trades that can make or break their year. I know traders who have made 30, 40, even 50% of their annual returns in a single move, while others who have a similar skill set made a fraction of that because they sized timidly. So how do you ensure you put the right size on? Well, you need to decide before the big move happens what size that you'll use. This is critical, and this is where your Sunday prep pays off. If you're caught in a massive opportunity and spend time deciding what to do, you end up getting worse prices, panicking, or undersizing. Your thinking should be, if a 9 or 10 out of 10 trade appears, this will be my default size, and you should know that for all the markets you trade. Then visualize placing that trade either in one market or across multiple positions. Write it in your journal, talk it through with your accountability partner or AI. By reducing the decisions you make during live trading, you speed up execution, which means bigger upside, smaller downside, and more confidence in your trading. This is about having the conviction to bet big when the odds are in your favor. And that's why the C in PACE stands for conviction. But there's still one more crucial part to this framework. A few years ago, a client came to me because he was overtrading. He was placing around 20 trades a day. When we analysed the results, he was making all his profit from the top 3 to 5 trades a day. The other 15 were just bleeding money. So we reviewed his 100 trades over the last week, and I discovered something striking. He placed 80% of his trades between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. When I asked why, he said, at that point it felt like time was running out. If I don't make something happen, I won't make money that day. This obviously was completely the wrong mindset. You can't make opportunities happen. Your job is to wait, be patient, and let the opportunities come to you. So I gave him an experiment. For the next week, he would score himself out of 10 every hour based on his trading discipline. If he didn't place a trade, even if he missed something, he still got a 10. He came back 2 weeks later and his trades had dropped from 20 per day to 7, and he had 2 very strong weeks. Here's what happened. He was highly competitive and already keeping score. Rather than telling him to stop, which was against his nature, we gave him something else to track and compete on that wasn't his P&L. The lesson? What you track massively matters. It shapes how you see yourself as a trader. If you want to make more money, obsessing over P&L is not the way. You need to track the behaviors that lead to good P&L: patience, discipline, selectivity. And notice how this connects back to everything else in the PACE framework. Your Sunday prep tells you what good execution looks like. Your accountability system catches you when you drift. Your conviction in the big trades gives you confidence to be patient the rest of the time. And that's why the E in PACE stands for execution. But doing this is only half the battle. To really make sure that 2026 is your biggest year, you have to make sure you spend your time doing the right activities. So watch this video next, where I'll teach you how 7-figure traders schedule their day so you can copy them, and hopefully you'll have insane results too. I'll see you there.